Welcome to the Good, Better, Betterness podcast. We're here to get real about what really matters, not accolades or achievement, not doing more or having it all, but stripping away the extras so that you can be more present, more grounded, more rested, and more you. We're your hosts and co-founders of WellRise, Denise
and Kayla. The Good, Better, Betterness podcast is a monthly chat with and for Black women about what self-care is and how you can make it an intentional part of every single day. We share real stories with real women who are devoted to living a life rooted in better wellness and living in harmony with the world around them. Take a seat, take a breath, and explore how deep and radical self-care can transform your life. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Good, Better, Betterness podcast. We are your hosts. I'm Kayla.
And I'm Denise.
And we are here on a special episode. This is a really exciting one because, first of all, it's just us two, the co-founders of Betterness. But also, we'll be talking today about our first product, which is Body Butter. And so we're super excited to get into it. We got a lot of history coming to this moment after 6 years. And so we're going to give you guys a little bit of a behind the scenes to this journey and what this has all been like. We just wrapped up a 3-day launch. And so, our voices are a little raspy. Let's be real. We're a little tired, but yes, we're excited to get into it. So let's get into it.
Yeah. So bringing Body Butter to the market was definitely a labor of love. We worked together, we worked with our team, we built a new team.
Right.
Lots of different things went into it. But as Kayla said, this is not just something that kind of like popped out of thin air. It is a natural progression of the brand that we've been building over the last 6 years. We are going to get into that. So thank you for joining us, first of all. Go ahead, grab some tea, grab a snack, maybe a mimosa, whatever you want, a notepad, and let's get right into this conversation.
Yay!
All right, let's do it.
I'm excited. Okay.
Let's just take it back to the beginning.
Okay.
How do we even come up with the idea for betterness? What is betterness?
So Denise and I, if you guys aren't familiar with our story, just real quick, went to college 20 years ago, pledged Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated.
Just got us out here
all the way.
Aged.
We are. We're a little older than we look. But yes, 20 years ago, dang, it does seem like that's a whole child. That's a teenager. We raised somebody together. And so we met that long ago, but 6 years ago, we just, we had traveled the world, we had explored, we moved out of Cali, and we knew that we had similar passions around wellness, right? And lifestyle and creating solutions that we didn't see right out in either the market or just didn't see, period. And so we had this passion and came together. Denise flew down from Chicago to Texas, and we just started ideating in 2017, like, what can we do? What makes sense? What's the business model if we can even get there? Just to even see if we could figure out something. And then what happened in 2018?
In 2018, we launched our first product, technically. That was a subscription box, so Betterness box, which is what a lot of you guys know us for. The ideation, the research, all the data and insights that went into kind of creating that business model and that idea really happened in 2017, but in 2018, May of 2018 specifically, we actually shipped out our first box.
Yes.
So in less than a year from ideation, first meeting, if you will, first powwow, retreat, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
We were actually like introducing our first concept to the market.
What's crazy, and I don't think I ever realized this, is we thought we created the word. At the time, if you remember.
No, I remember we went to the dictionary as well.
But I don't even know, was it in the dictionary?
It is in the dictionary.
Okay, but we at first though,
At first.
we literally were playing around with words, and I can see the paper right now where we were like writing down better this or wellness this, or like we were literally playing around with the words. Denise, being in marketing in her like career, knew that like made up words do better in market. And so we're like, okay, we got to make up one. And so I remember us thinking we made up betterness, which now I'm
and
like.
And then we went to the dictionary.
And we're like, oh.
Yeah. And actually betterness by textbook does mean the pursuit of pursuing better, essentially.
Right.
So that very much aligned with what we had already determined we wanted to do, which is ensure that people understand that you can be better each day, bit by bit. One day at a time. Yeah. The definition of betterness aligned with that, and then the pursuit of better wellness really kind of like formed from all of that.
Exactly. And that's why I wanted Denise to mention the box, because that was the solution. How do we help people pursue a better, well-being? How do we help them get the tools, the resources? And specifically for us Black women, like we were very clear on making sure that, busy Black women who are taking on way more than they need to, and taking care of everybody else and forgetting about themselves, how do we help them be more consistent? How do we meet them where they are? And so Betterness was born out of that. And at the time we thought, okay, it's just going to be Betterness Box, and that's what we're going to do. But we're now here with a whole Betterness brand, and now we're starting to branch off with Betterness Body. I'm so excited about it.
Fabulous.
Yes. Okay. So that was Journey. What are specific gaps in wellness? So I'll say a little bit about what I said to the lady yesterday. Okay. So thinking about some of the gaps, like we just said, right? What does it look like to meet these women where they are? The wellness industry is predominantly white. Let's just be real. And that's a lot of the solutions, and especially around well-being, that are in, America. When you think of Pilates, you have like the soccer mom in your head, right? This lady with some yoga pants on, and she's running around with a jacket on and some tennis shoes, right? But you don't maybe think that woman is Black. Even Black people may not think that woman is Black, like when you really think about like the first person who comes to mind. And so for me, one of the really important things that I feel like we are addressing is creating a brand that is approachable and accessible for Black women, right? We're not in the suburban, areas all the time when there's a juice bar on the corner, right? A lot of the places that Black people live, there aren't grocery stores within 20 minutes of where they live sometimes. And so we know that access is an issue, and knowing that, how do we meet that need? So again, for me, Betterness and creating this brand and creating every solution we create is really about making sure the people that look like us see that there is a place for them when it comes to well-being, see that there's a place that they can go to when it comes to wellness. Yeah.
I think layering onto that accessibility, if you will, component, my personal journey with wellness has really centered around, is it sustainable, and can it become a part of my lifestyle? So I think that a lot of times when you don't have the time to do wellness in, a more consistent way, it looks like, a quick massage here, but then maybe you're getting like one massage a year, right? When it's like, okay, like by the time you go to actually like
do the thing,
the condition is already so severe where that one little massage or that one little manicure or that one little trip even is actually like, it's just kind of like surface level, kind of like helping the situation. So a major component of what we were building at the beginning and even now today, for myself personally, was about the habit creating tendencies of it, how to create consistency in it, and how to ensure like that these different things that we're introducing can become a part of your actual lifestyle. Once it becomes a part of your lifestyle and it's actually manageable, whether it's accessible financially or whether it's accessible because proximity, whatever that is, it then starts to become a more realistic solution for you long term. And we all know that wellness, self-care, all of these different things do not happen just overnight. They do require some level of consistency. And so that was always like a place where my mind was of like, how do you actually create something that people can experience and it meets them where they are, so it's accessible where they are financially, proximity, whatever. But it also creates the environment for longevity.
Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah.
Because when you think about it, I think one of the things that we have tried to do, and I think we've been successful in, is just being real about who needs this and how do they, incorporate it. I liken it to like when you're eating really bad, right? And you're just used to feeling a certain way. Like, yes, your tummy hurts, but you've gotten used to that. Yes, you may not like the way you look because you have this extra weight on you because you're eating fast food every day. But then you have a healthy meal and your body's like, ooh, I have relief. You're feeding me living food or whatever that is that changes. Or you start taking walks every day and getting vitamin D every day. It's like, okay, now I'm not even addicted, but I know what to do so that I feel better. And so that is what creates that habit. And I love what you say and your passion around making sure it's manageable. I think as a mother.
That was even before. Like
Exactly.
Yeah.
It was. Yeah. Because, we were talking about this last night. Sis is a social butterfly, okay? She will be your friend. Hopefully, if you're a cool person. If you're cool, she'll be your friend. But she never met a stranger, right? And so there are a lot of obligations that come with that kind of a personality, right? Like now you're like, okay, yeah, I can hang out with you. We can do lunch, whatever. But now you take on a lot more than maybe you have the capacity for. And so I can see how you're like, is this new thing manageable?
Yeah.
Can I even sustain this new thing? Yes, it's great. But if it's not manageable, how does it stick? How does it stay with you?
And it doesn't. It just doesn't. Like
people don't either. Like, that's what I'm saying.
There are people, there are things, there are habits, there are foods, there are certain things that
will not.
You try it and it's fleeting, right? It just, it goes. Like I said, people, places, things, all the things. So, in an ideal scenario, I just think that like some kind of realistic expectations around like yourself. It starts with self-awareness.
Yeah.
Of like, what am I capable of in this moment? Brief introductions to products might be that thing. Brief introductions to wellness services might be that thing. And then you start to kind of like formulate like, what does this actually mean? How does this work?
Yes.
How does it make me feel? And what you said something earlier too about like, you have one good meal and your body gets relief.
Yes.
You actually might not even feel good, right? Like I drink juices and kombuchas and sea moss and whatever, right? Like all these different random things.
Right.
But somebody who doesn't drink that, their body might be like, I don't even know. It doesn't.
That's a good point.
Health and wellness doesn't actually feel good to me.
Yeah.
Right? Like going to therapy for the first time might not feel good to you.
Yeah.
Working out.
Now,
might not
after you
feel
work
good
out, you might have those endorphins. Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So like the introduction of like the self-awareness of like, what do I actually want from my life? And then understanding like, it's not going to be pretty to get there. It's not going to be easy to get there. But like, how do I get there in a way that's like structured a little bit? So that I can manage all the, hopefully.
Yeah.
At some point, you're going to get to the enjoyable part. But like, depending on your condition that you're entering a wellness type of lifestyle from, like
that's real.
Detoxing life, detoxing habits. Those things are not pretty and they're not always comfortable.
Absolutely.
But I think that, the self-awareness and understanding, like, this is what I'm trying to do. This is where I'm trying to go. Hopefully gives you the kind of like balance between the motivation and like your ability to actually achieve, like go towards something that helps you start to kind of like structure what that looks like for you. And I think the other thing, and maybe we just kind of like wrap this little piece on this, but Kayla and I are very aware of like, Kayla has her own wellness journey. Denise has her own wellness journey. We had those and very, very like before we were friends, obviously. So we know that of each other, but we had that before that are like completely like, Kayla's going to do her thing. Denise is going to do her thing. We also believe there's 8 billion people plus in the world. And so there are that many or more ways to do self-care.
Right.
And we are not of the mindset that there's only one way to do self-care. There's only one way to do yoga. There's only one way to do Pilates. Like you do not have to show up on the mat and do a headstand on day one, right? You do not have to become a vegan on day one of trying to eat healthy, right? Like
good luck,
right? Like create your own idea about what self-care means for you, test out the things that work for you, and determine your own, like chart your own course. And that's really like how we operate the business. And we try to create the solutions, whether it be product, services, that start to help you kind of like figure that out for yourself.
Yep. We are the exploration platform. This is where you come to explore and discover products. Maybe they're not ours, maybe they are, right? We have curated a platform for you to explore. It could be the blog, it could be these podcasts, it could be our events, right? You're tapping in where you have the capacity to and discovering things that actually work for you. And now you can incorporate those things based on your choice into your routine. So yeah, that's what Betterness is, basically. Okay, the product, let's get into it. So why body care? Why did we decide to go with body care? Denise?
Interesting, right? So like if we just talked about, we actually kind of talked about the brand. We actually didn't necessarily talk about the brand journey. Obviously when we launched Betterness Box, 2018, that was 6 years ago, right? 6 going on 7 years ago, because over 6 years. But going on 7 years, we've been testing products, essentially. Sampling products, testing products, right? Like the products that are going to be in the box, they come to Kayla and Denise.
Yep.
We are sampling them, we're testing them, we're talking to the makers of these brands. And there's been books, there's been body care, there's been candles, there's been physical fitness equipment, exercise equipment. So a plethora of different types of products have had the opportunity of being featured in Betterness Box. Like I said, Kayla and I are always listening to the customers of what they want and then also testing out these different products. And so I think that body care is just one of the branches, right, that we first ventured into because it was a consistent. Beauty and body care are the consistent items that we know the customers who received Betterness Box like gravitated towards and love. And people like to just like figure out what's for them. It's a massive market, but starting to understand and break down like, okay, what's actually missing in this industry for the people who look like us, move like us, operate like us, have supported us. We started there, right? So it's a little bit of 6 years of intensive research and just like, when a product is included in the box, what do we hear people like? So there's a piece of that. And then we actually surveyed our customers of, okay, if we are going to enter into the body care market, like what kind of products do you guys want from us specifically, right? You know our brand a little bit. You've purchased from us before. What was missing? What are you still seeking?
Exactly.
And I'll let you kind of like continue that conversation into like, how do we kind of like get to, you know?
Yes. Yeah. It wasn't straightforward.
Not at all.
We just got to be real. You know, God don't play about us, y'all. And so because he doesn't, I think we had to just flow with the way this happened. This could have went a whole different way because it didn't look like what we wanted it to, or it wasn't exactly what we thought when it came to timing, or, you know, all these things. And hurdles really were things that we had to be very fluid and agile in, right? And there's some things we were uncompromising about, obviously, but I would say, you know, coming off of that feedback and saying, okay, this is what the people want. We get it, especially because of all the market research we've done. It was now, okay, we got to get into the nitty gritty. It's the colors, it's the smells, it's the layers of formulating what that looks like. And so getting to that was definitely something we wanted. I think the thing that kept going off, at least in my head, as we were going through the formulation process with a locally based to Dallas chemist, another Black woman, she's amazing. It was like luxury. Right? Like even to the actual product size and the shape, we were like, no. The jar can't be round because it's giving hair care, right? Like we were very, very, very clear on what we wanted this to look like. And there'll be different iterations even going forward, just like any other company, but especially small companies, right? What can you launch with versus what it will become? And it'll only get better. But I think for sure, we said to ourselves, luxury, luxury, luxury. We don't feel like and see, like it's not just a feeling, but we don't see that there's a luxury product out there that's also natural, that also helps us with the certain things that we have going on, inflammation and you know, hormone imbalances and psoriasis and eczema, right? Like all of those different things we wanted to tackle and make a luxury experience. So that's like this packaged for sure. And so I think once we got there, it was just like, okay, this is what we're going to do. Because y'all, we were going to buy a whole company, start from there. Because who wants to start from scratch? Like, nobody want to do that. But like I said, God was like, nah, this isn't it. And then, finding that manufacturing chemist and finding the strategist to help us, create what it looks like to launch and kind of guide us through that process, and the lawyers that we needed, right, to make sure that we were naming it the right things and not calling it something that we were going to get sued for one day, right? Like all of those little things had to happen. But it's definitely a product that I'm extremely proud of.
Yeah. One of the things that I kind of want to touch on is a lot of times it doesn't necessarily look like what Kayla said this, but in a more concise way, like you like to do me. It doesn't always look like what you thought it should look like, right? So, and I'm going to explain that a little bit just because it might not sound like what you think I'm saying. Kayla mentioned we were looking to acquire a business, right? So we thought, let's acquire a business. That means there are
a body care business,
yep, right? That's already seen success with certain, different products and things of that sort.
Yep.
We obviously did not do that, right? So that can appear to be a setback or wasted time, right?
Yeah.
But in the process of doing that, this was February, March of this year. So like 6 months of due diligence to determine like, okay, is this the right opportunity? Is this the right company?
Yep.
Do we have the right setup team, timing, budget, all the things, right? In the process of doing that and not actually going through with that, it can appear to be a setback or waste of time. But what that actually allowed us to do was have the people in place to move along our actual idea a little bit faster.
Yeah.
And so I just say that to have people understand that, like, in doing certain things, you might just have in your mind an idea of what is going to be the final thing, the final output of something. The final output of my energy that has been spent doing this thing. But that might actually be like setting you up and preparing you for the next thing that you might not even know is like on the horizon, or you thought it was on the horizon, but maybe like much further out in the distance, right? And so, like I said, I like to just think that like a lot of times I feel like our quote unquote setbacks end up actually being the thing sometimes that prepare us to move on the next things a little bit faster.
For sure.
And so I just kind of like appreciate that. And I think that like
that's
people have ideas. And I think that like we have a system in place where we like Denise and Kayla have ideas about things.
All the time.
We are women, we are customers of our own product. We are living in the world, right? Our idea of Betterness Box stemmed from us being in our early 30s, being corporate America, building our careers, being very busy and being like, okay, something's like, my metabolism is changing. Different things are happening that like require a different level of intention. So we always are going to have those ideas. And I think that we always make sure that we hear each other and the team hears that. But then we also go to the customers. We also go to the foundation. Like, do we have the resources, the structure, the time, the budget, all the different things to like kind of like actually make this happen. Yeah. And so I think that to me, like when I say labor of love for this product specifically, it doesn't just start with, it doesn't just start with this year.
No,
it starts with
not at all.
No, the trademark for the word betterness was done 2 years ago. Like the different pieces of the puzzle have to start to fit together in order for you to actually be like, oh, bet. That's now this is launching. Now this is coming to life,
That's
right?
That's so good. Because we probably wouldn't have even called it Betterness Body.
No, had it not been something that was already in the bag of tricks, right?
And then been like, let's take our logo and just put body at the back. These are things we made the decision to do in a minute that could takes months for some brands to figure out what are we gonna call it.
Right.
And then she took a shower and was like, yeah, it should be called body butter. Okay, cool. Slap that on the label. Like, these things happen very quickly. This is the only reason why.
They happen quickly, but like our minds are always there.
Yes.
And this is like I said, years of kind of like the different pieces of the puzzle are always just like moving in the background.
Yep.
To where then it's like, oh, like Kayla and I had a whole ideation session. I don't even remember maybe it was July or something like that, right? Like once we determined like, okay, we're not going to acquire this brand, we are actually going to do our own thing. It started with Denise and Kayla. We were like, let's have a whole little powwow. Kayla had her little prompts ready. And that ideation session of several hours over slutty vegan burgers, right?
We had slutty vegan. Y'all hurry up and come back. They closed. They're temporarily closed. I don't know what's going on, girl. Sore, Pinky Cole. What's going on with that Dallas location? Because I need my hussy fussy. What is it? Fussy hussy?
I don't even know because it was my first time having it.
One night stand. Just give me a one night stand. I'll be good. Thank you.
Hilarious. But yes. We did the ideation session and that like sets the long-term strategy.
Yes.
We have all these ideas, right?
And
like
it put us in a mindset of like, okay, how do we
what's
really
first?
want this?
How do you actually this is our MVP, like our minimum viable product. It is the first product that comes from that ideation session, right?
And then you just iterate from there.
How do you continue to iterate? How do you hear from the customers, see what they want? Do they like it? What are the things that
and expand?
Resonate with them?
Do they want another, the same scent but a different type of, product? Do they want a lotion now? Do they want a serum, whatever that looks like, a fragrance? Listen, we have all the plans. Let me be clear. This was always going to happen. We just didn't think it was going to happen this year.
I've
been saying it for a long time. Every time I say it, I'm like, y'all have to understand this was not what we thought was going to happen. But what Denise is saying is happening in the background. To me, that's the Holy Spirit. That is God literally moving through and being like, yep, okay, they got their little trademark over here. Not little, the big one. They got their trademark over here. We own the word betterness. There is no way we would be able to execute this in the way we have if we had not secured that. And then all these other little things that came to play. So yes, I agree completely, 1000%. Listen. When God don't be playing about you, you can do some things in a couple months. It's not gonna be easy, but
right.
Okay, let's get into our events this weekend. My.
I'll just first start by saying thank you to everybody who supported. Dallas truly showed up. I know Kayla has an immense network here, but we structured it in a way to like honor and have a space for the people who have been there from like day one in the local piece, but also like start to introduce the brand to just new people. We had a couple pop-up shops, and then we had a kind of like a launch event at Pure Noir Urban Wineries.
Exactly. So, Dallas takeover, right? We had a whole Dallas takeover. We said, we're going to be in the downtown area. We're going to go with the bougie people. Hey, y'all, and we love you. And then we're going to go up north. And so shout out to Charles Schwab, who sponsored the entire Dallas takeover. Really, really helpful in making sure we got the word out, right? Just enlisting PR. Shout out to Kayla Tucker Adams and her agency. Just making sure that we got out there. We've been featured on Dallas Weekly. We'll be on Texas Metro News. We're also going to be on Texas Today, which is NBC5 next week. So like, listen when I tell you, this is a launch. This is not just like, oh, okay, you guys mixed up something in your kitchen and, whatever. No, we have a manufacturer. We are the distributors, right? Like this is everything, again, that happened in our business to help us make sure the logistics of even putting a betterness box together, putting a self-care kit together at the drop of a dime, right? Like somebody who orders a self-care kit today is going to get that box in a couple days. That is not an easy thing to do as a small business. And so having that logistical foundation has allowed us to do and launch in the way that we're launching. Because it would be a lot different if we were like, oh no, we only made 50 and we just ran out on the first day. You know what I mean? Like we were really able to launch in a big way because of that. So yes, again, shout out to Charles Schwab. Shout out to Pure Noir Urban Wineries. Y'all down in Houston came up to Dallas and opened your winery, and it's beautiful, an amazing venue. Y'all got to check it out if you're in the Dallas area. But yes, hopefully there's some footage we can put in here.
Bandier,
put some footage in here so they can see. But yes, after Friday, Black Friday, we did on Saturday the Small Business Saturday pop-up at Bandier, and they were amazing.
Absolutely amazing.
Amazing. That was really fun. It was cold, y'all, and people were still coming out. Volunteers came, made sure they had their shirts on. I was a little bit of a tyrant, I'll admit it, because it was cold, but like it was starting to warm up, and I was like, take your jackets off, because when you wear a jacket, the B, E, and the DY get cut off. The fact that I even know that is creepy.
My hair is also
I was going to say something. I was like, get your hair.
Hey guys, it says Betterness.
But yes, again, this is what I was all weekend. I was like, take your jacket off, then go outside. Because I just feel, especially the back. So the back says, make them say, ah. We also had tote bags. Listen, when I tell you, we did this launch. Now that I'm sitting here basking in it after, I can look back and be like, wow. Like, I don't see many brands launch in this way. If anything, especially, again, small businesses, it's like they make 50 jars or whatever, and then they show up somewhere hoping to sell it out. And instead, we were able to go to 3 different major companies, major venues, and really expose the product to a new audience. And so Highland Park Village, that was amazing. And then on Sunday, we were with our girl Rebecca. Hey, shout out to Rebecca at Fabletics, because that was an amazing pop-up. Man, Self-Care Sunday was a thing.
It was. I don't even know if I knew that Fabletics was popping, y'all.
I didn't know.
I mean, they had like 60, 65% of the discounts were popping, the body butter was popping, the people were in there having a great time. We had a masseuse that was giving free, massages. And the staff was honestly just like a pleasure to work with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Staff was
dope.
dope.
It was great. Can we talk a little bit about like the customer feedback though? Like throughout the weekend.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about like what we heard.
Yeah. I might cry.
It's fine.
That's crazy.
It wouldn't be,
I'm not. Damn it! It wouldn't be an episode
out of character.
GBB if I didn't cry. I cried at the launch, y'all. I was crying every day. I cried in front of Rebecca when she was like, "Yes, of course, we'll move this out of the way and put this here." I'm like, "You are rearranging your whole store for us." So yes, we did have a masseuse, y'all, and he brought a whole little chair, and he was giving back, shoulder massages, hand massages, obviously hand and arm massages with our butter, which really helped, I think, to convert as well. But yeah, like giving people a sample, right? We had the little sample sticks, and we'd place that on their hands if they came up. And again, it's cold, people's hands are dry and cracking, and so immediately, like, their faces lit up. Most people were surprised at how it was absorbing into their skin. And I think that was like so satisfying, right? Because when you pour over a formula, you're hoping that everybody,
it resonates.
Yeah, because some people's skin types are different. And so, yeah, I think that was really dope. So yeah, their faces lighting up and being like, oh, wait. At first, I think they thought this is not going to absorb quickly. Like, I shouldn't. Why did you give me so much? And it was like, no, actually, just a little dollop is enough. And yes, it spreads easily and actually goes onto the hands and absorbs. So we formulated it with jojoba oil, coconut oil, oils that mimic your skin oil. And so what happens is your skin is like, okay, I recognize this molecular breakdown. Let me absorb into my skin. Sorry if that's a little too chemistry for you, but it's basically saying, yes, I will accept you into your organ. And the skin is the largest organ, right? Is our largest organ. So it's super important. And I think one particular girl, made a whole weekend. Middle Eastern, she was visiting from somewhere, this is the holiday weekend, and she came into Bandier actually, and she had eczema on her hands. And so her friend was there. She was like, oh yeah, I'll try it, right? She didn't even think twice about it. But her friend was like, oh no, I can't try it because I have eczema and everything kind of makes my skin break out. And she showed me, she was like, this is literally what I deal with. And I was like, oh my God, this is who we created this for, right? Like, this is one of those people that we wanted to make sure, of course, all skin types could use this product, but now we have an example. And if I could get her to try this, it actually may help her and change her life. Like, imagine walking around with like dryness and pain on your hands. Like, nobody wants that, right?
No.
And so...
And it's cold, right? So that's just going to extra irritation.
Exactly. And so she was like, okay, she trusted me when I told her about the horsetail extract and the green tea extract that's in our product that literally specifically are made, natural vegan ingredients that are made to tackle that dryness. And so she put it on her hand and rubbed it in. And like, again, her face lit up and she was so excited that she found something that could actually help her, and smelled good. She loved the smell. Everybody loved the smell.
Everybody.
There was not one person that was like, ugh.
There was not one person.
Not one.
Who didn't.
Not one.
Men and women. It's very unisex. Scent.
Way more men. I was not prepared for that.
I think that was my surprise moment. And the little girl who kept coming back, she was like, "Can I just have some more on my left hand, my right hand?"
She said, "I need another sample."
There was a little 3-year-old at Fabletics,
so cute.
and she was like, "Mom, we're going back in the store for more samples," because she absolutely loved it.
But her mom was like, "Girl, this is my jar. You better go over there."
She almost had to buy the 3-year-old her own jar because she was like, "I'm taking the bag, the jar, the exfoliating, everything."
Yes.
I think my kind of like surprising point was, men are a little bit, they're like, I'm here shopping because my wife told me. I am the walking wallet is what we heard several times. So men are like, I'm just here, like we're about to go to dinner, lunch at some point. Like, I'm not here for anything else but because I was told to be here. But the men who tried the product, and then they were while the wives were shopping, the men were lingering at our table, like,
hanging out.
Tell me about this product. Like, I have very dry, knuckles or whatever. They loved the scent, working out, lifting. Like, even the gentleman who worked in the back of Fabletics, he was like, I'm messing with boxes all day. So he came at the beginning of his shift and at the end of the shift because he was just like, oh, like I need it, But I think the men's response was actually very interesting to me. We crafted it and intended for it to be unisex. But I actually feel like the families that came in and the men tried it, they were like leaving with 2, right? They were like,
y'all can have this. The girls in the family can have this, but I need my own jar.
This on my own thing.
And it's the freshness of the scent. I think that they may think for some reason that it's going to smell sweet or be too whatever, but no, it's a white tea smell that actually really, really
resonates.
Yeah, it resonates and gives you that like spa-like experience.
So you can buy all of those products and spend hundreds of dollars and lots of time. Or you can get a box for $25 today for your first box, and it's worth over $100 delivered to your doorstep and then automated from then on every 3 months. Make sure you subscribe today at betternessbox.com. It's worth it.
So if you're not in Dallas, right, we want to make sure you understand what you have access to. We are looking forward to making sure that this is accessible everywhere, right? We ship globally, again, a product of making sure we have this foundation before we even launch something like this. So thank you, God. But so we ship globally to specific, most countries. And this product is available online. It was available on Friday. So thank you if you see this episode and you actually purchased online as well, if you weren't in Dallas and couldn't make it to the launch. But the body butter is out there. It is ready to be purchased. And, of course there's going to be more products. Like, what are you talking about? Like, of course. We will be taking our time to get there. We really want to make sure this gets out there and get the feedback and make sure reviews are left. So if you are a support of ours and you are listening to this, please, please, please leave a review. Google review works, but if you purchase, you'll also get an email that asks you to leave a review. Girl, take some before and after pictures, okay? Send them, put them up, and make sure people know that this is truly a luxury experience, but more so is actually a product that you can use daily that's going to literally change your life. It's great for kids. A lot of mothers and families came in talking about, eczema on their kids' elbows and knees, right? Their joints where their skin, is cracking. And so use it on your face, head to toe, okay? Maybe not your hair, but head to toe. You can use it everywhere. To wrap up the launch weekend, we will be going live. Y'all let us know, because obviously you'll be seeing this after we go live. Let us know if you'd be interested in a live like QVC version of shopping with us, because we love talking about the products, obviously the different ingredients and stuff like that. But, we have a lot of different things that are available on our site. In fact, we are launching the Betterness shop technically tomorrow too. So by the time this goes up, the Betterness shop will be available. And obviously the butter is available online, but the Betterness shop is all about building your own self-care kit. 8 billion types of, is it million or billion?
Billion.
Dang, that's a lot of self-care.
There's like 3 million people in Chicago.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, we're not living in the end times, are we? Maybe. However,
whole nother conversation.
Right, 8 billion types of combinations, right, can be curated for you on the site. So check out Build Your Own Box feature. It's going to tell you what happens when you actually put things in your box. You're going to get an actual list of what it looks like to save. So the more you add to your box, it's going to show you that you're saving more and more money. It makes sense to subscribe. I mean, clearly you're going to get the benefit there. However, if you want to customize your own box, you want to buy 3 of one thing, you want to buy 6 of another, the marketplace or the Betterness shop is where you want to go to build your own box.
All right. Thank you guys again for tuning in to the Good, Better, Betterness podcast. I'm Denise again, and this is Kayla.
Yes.
We are the co-founders and also CEO and COO of Betterness Box. Wellrise is the parent brand. But thank you for tuning in. You can listen to us wherever you listen to your podcasts. Thank you again for all of our partners, volunteers, customers, and just the entire kind of community and support network that we had for the launch of our first product.
Oh my God, yes.
And from day one.
We have to thank our volunteers. Y'all, some of these people showed up all 3 days and were packing our cars and packing boxes and doing all of the crazy things that we definitely would have been just like, I don't even think we could have done it without our volunteers, honestly.
Absolutely not.
No. We had greeters. We had people that did the florals, amazing. And so just have to do a huge shout out to them. We love you.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Hey sis, we thank you for honoring yourself by taking the time to listen to the Good, Better, Betterness podcast. Thank you for joining us on the journey to betterness.